us closer. Keep serving David safe in this perilous time. Hey, it's your girl, The Flame, and you are listening to the Servant David Show. Keep it locked right here and don't change the dial. You don't want to miss it.
Blessed greetings, each and every one of you. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the importance of having a prayer life. Some might wonder, well, why is it important to have a prayer life? You see, my answer to that would be because prayer will lead to a communion with God and a greater understanding of His will for our life. You see, prayer makes a difference in what happens in your life, in my life, in our lives, and the lives of everyone. You see, our understanding of prayer will correspond to our understanding of who God is and what He wants to do. Some of you say, well, or feel probably that we are to just pray when times are hard, when sickness takes us or sickness takes a loved one, financial issues occur, marriage issues, boyfriend issues, life's issues hit us. Oftentimes, we find the time to pray. But prayer should be, or should I even bring it further and say prayer must be a lifestyle. You see, prayer is not something a person does, but it is something he or she lives. It's not something that has to be forced to do, just like breathing. It is natural to do for the person who embodies prayer. We do need oxygen to breathe, and we need prayer in our lives as well. You know, it amazes me on how many people love praying to God. They really love praying to a God that they really don't even know for themselves. And most people have built their prayer life based off of what has been displayed before them in their local churches or prayer meetings or prayer books and or even grand events. But these are not bad examples at all, as long as it was biblically and scripturally based. But at the end of the day, that which is displayed and taught to us is based off of another person's revelation of who God is to them. You know, Jesus asked his disciples, "Can you not tarry to abide or stay in place with me even just for 1 hour?" In Matthew 26, verse 40 through 46, it says, and I quote, "And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, What are you so utterly unable to stay awake and keep watch with me, even just for 1 hour? All of you must keep awake, give strict attention because the time is near. So be cautious and active, and watch and pray that you may not come into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but ladies and gentlemen, the flesh is weak. In verse 42, again, a second time, he went away and he prayed, "My Father, if this cannot pass by unless I drink it, your will be done." Verse 43 says, "And again he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were weighed down with sleep. So leaving them again, he went away and he prayed for that third time, using the same words." Then in verse 45 it says, "Then he returned to the disciples and said to them, 'Are you still sleeping and taking your rests? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of especially the wicked sinners, whose ways or nature is not to act in opposition to God." 46 goes on to say, "Get up, get up, let us go." See, Jesus was a patient man. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the stress he was going through? I mean, when he sweat during his praying at this time, he sweat until he began to sweat blood. Again, he said, "Get up, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." Jesus used Peter's drowsiness to warn him about the kinds of temptation he would soon face. The way to overcome temptation is to keep watch and pray. And watching means being aware of the possibilities of temptation, sensitive to the subtleties or the acuteness of some type of penetration of our mind, and spiritually equipped to fight it. Because temptation strikes where we most are vulnerable. Temptation strikes when we least expect it. We can't resist it alone, neither. And prayer is essential because God's strength can show up our defenses and defeat Satan's power. You see, the reason many of the leaders of today's churches and seminars and things like that is under attack is because the sheep are asleep. And those who are assigned to the house are drowsy and asleep, not awake and not watching and praying as one ought to. You want to know why many believers are falling into temptation? Because there's no prayer life. And many don't know the Lord Jesus, the Christ, as the way of escape, the truth teller, the life giver. For no temptation, no trial regarded as enticing to sin, no matter how it comes or where it leads. has overtaken you and laid hold on you that is not common to man. That is no temptation or trial has come to you that is beyond human resistance and that is not adjusted and adapted and belonging to human experience and such as man to bear. And that is where some cut it short and they say, God will not give you more than what you can bear. But God is faithful to his word and to his compassionate nature. And he can be trusted. We cannot, but he can. He can be trusted, not to let you be tempted and tried and assayed by or beyond your ability and strength to resist the power of temptation. And you know, when temptation comes, many times it does not come as something that we don't want to do. It comes in a pretty sight. And if that temptation be something that you have already learned that is wrong, and it is a sin, but you're struggling with it, you're fighting it. Because yes, many of us, and I include myself, many of us daily fight sin. There are things we don't want to do. We really don't want to do them. And we know it's wrong in the sight of God, yet still we do it. Again, God is a faithful God to his word and to his compassionate nature. And he can be trusted, not to let you be tempted and tried. In a culture filled with moral depravity and sin in inducing pressures, Paul gave strong encouragement to the Corinthians about temptation. He said, wrong desires and temptations happen to everyone. So we don't have to feel we've been singled out. Others have resisted temptation, and so can you. So can I. And any temptation can be resisted because God will help us. God will help to resist it. God helps us resist anything that is not of him. But some of us resist God until we fall into those times. You see, God helps us resist temptation by helping us recognize those people and situations that give us trouble. We can run from anything we know is wrong. We can choose to do only what is right. Or choose to do what is wrong. We can also pray for God's help and seek friends who love God and can offer help when we are tempted and cannot fight alone and feel we are not strong enough. Running from a tempting situation is our first step for most of us on the way to victory. But I say, don't run. Fight your temptation with the Lord. And I promise you, he will see you through. That's the importance of prayer. Love, manners, and elevation. Until next time, on a walk, go there.
through the process, I will wait. Hi, this is Minister Jabez, and you're tuned into the Servant David Show for the best in your devotion, games, comedy, and health awareness. It's the Servant David Show.